As an employee of the Des Moines Public Schools and future school leader, my goals are tightly aligned to district board goals. In particular, three goals: literacy, Algebra 1, and social and emotional learning. Now, goal number one in regards to literacy is specific to the percent of all third grade students on track in reading, and we expect increases from 52% to 72% by June of 2023 as measured by FAST. Goal number two in regard to literacy is an equity-based goal and is specific to the success and academic achievement of black male third grade students on track in reading, which we expect to increase from 35% to 72% by June of 2023 as measured by FAST. This second goal is important because it highlights a current reality in the Des Moines Public Schools, which is large disproportionality in the achievement of our black male students. And so this second goal represents a commitment and recognition of focus in this area in order to achieve more equitable outcomes for all students. The second goal is more specific to high school, and it is that the percentage of black male students earning a B or higher in Algebra 1 by the end of ninth grade will increase from 17% to 35% by August of 2023. I believe a couple of considerations need to be made on this point. Number one, that we don't confuse earning a B with more equitable outcomes for students in regards to preparation for college and career readiness. We want to make sure that the B's represent actual learning as measured against standards as opposed to grade inflation. This goal, I also believe, is specific and supported by vertically through K-8 mathematics instruction and programming, and I'll get into that a little bit more here in a moment. And then the final goal is related to social and emotional learning. As a district, we believe strongly that in order to achieve more equitable outcomes for all students, we must necessarily address and educate the whole child as opposed to a more traditional approach of resting our laurels upon academic achievement alone. Specifically in regards to our literacy goals, at the elementary level, we are identifying and implementing district-wide literacy curriculum called Expeditionary Learning, or EL curricula. My role in supporting the achievement of this goal is specific to the establishment of data-based PLCs at the school level based upon DeFore's 4 questions. What do we want students to know? How will we know they know it? What will we do if they don't know it? And what will we do if they already know it? In addition to this, I believe it is the role of a leader to facilitate collaborative planning amongst teacher teams. We know that the most effective teachers benefit from collaboration with one another that is targeted and authentic. Secondarily, I believe my role in supporting this work and the achievement of these goals is to monitor implementation of the curricula and the PLC database-driven or data-driven decision-making process. This could take the form of instructional walkthroughs, but also, and I think most importantly, includes participation in teacher professional learning communities. And then finally, the collaborative scoring of student evidence of learning. In my experience, the most effective way to calibrate both planning and implementation is to really reflect upon and dive into student learning and cite evidence of how students are performing against specific standards or learning targets. In regard to algebra, At the K-5 level, I believe it is also incumbent upon us as leaders to identify aligned curriculum. In this case, illustrative mathematics, which is also a product of expeditionary learning, and then to pilot the program with support from our district. Following the year of learning, I believe it is important to facilitate targeted teacher professional development related to the curricula, so that we are further able to implement with integrity and fill any gaps in learning for both teachers and students. After professional development has been designed and delivered, I believe it will be important to implement the curricula with integrity. And much like the implementation of the expeditionary learning or EL literacy curriculum, this rests upon a leader's ability to facilitate data-driven PLCs, to engage in deep collaborative planning, to monitor implementation, and then again to collaboratively score student evidence in service of teacher calibration. The last goal is specific to social and emotional learning, and I believe in a 3-year period that we need to begin by gathering baseline data from both teachers and students related to their social and emotional learning. We will do this through the Panorama Social and Emotional Learning Screener. After we are able to gather baseline data related to social and emotional learning, it will then become important to identify an aligned SEL curricula, particularly curricula that align with targeted areas of improvement within the SEL screener data. In our case, that would be specific to the social and emotional learning competencies as identified and described by Casel. After the SEL curriculum or curricula are identified, school teams must work and in conjunction and collaboration with district leaders to integrate SEL curricula into all content areas. I believe powerfully that we will not achieve any of our goals unless we embrace true integration of SEL within all content areas. It's not just a set of skills or competencies that can be learned in 1 hour every week, but instead needs to be one of our priorities in delivering instruction on a day-to-day and even minute-to-minute basis in the classroom. And then finally, the implementation of the SEL curricula with integrity will rest upon a leader's ability to, again, facilitate data-driven PLCs based upon DeForest 4 questions, to engage in regular and authentic collaborative planning, and then as a leader to monitor the integrity of implementation, and finally to reflect upon student learning and learning goals through collaborative scoring of student evidence of learning. I think if we can do these 3 things, we'll be well on our way to achieving our district and school goals related to more equitable outcomes for all students.